Hi, welcome to AntiChamber. When you first get into the AntiChamber, all you need to know is displayed here, but this isn't quite all you need to know. So I've put together a little guide with some hints and tips that shouldn't contain any major spoilers. There may be a couple of minor spoilers, but nothing too serious. This isn't a guide to any specific room, it's just some tips that may help you with the puzzle. First of all, let's look at the map. The flashing circle is where you've just come from. The dot, or the cross rather, is where you entered, and you see this line here, that's the path that you took from where you entered to where you left, so you can see the rooms that you've been through and how you got there. Now later on, as you open up the map, you'll see that some of the squares are big, some are small, and there's some little circles. We'll come to those in a second. The big squares mean that there are still exits from that room that you haven't found. The little squares mean that it's a room that you've fully explored. We'll see here, there we go, see where the flashing circle is. That's a dead end, because that's a little circle. The square just underneath it is a room that I've explored entirely, many paths to nowhere. And the big squares maintain that there are still exits that I haven't found, which may require skills I don't have yet. So let's start off. First of all, rooms change when you pass through them. So the first room here is jump. If you jump off, you'll come down here. If you immediately escape and go back, go here again, you'll see that it says walk. And if you walk across, you'll see that a magical platform appears. Also, things change when you turn around sometimes. Along this seemingly nondescript corridor, we'll come back to these balls in a minute, it's pretty much nothing there ahead. So you walk ahead a little bit, and then when you turn around, you'll see that a grid has appeared in the floor behind you. So always check behind you for things that may have changed. Let's talk about the balls quickly. If you move normally, they'll get all angry and turn red, and they'll generally disrupt and change the surroundings around them. If you hold shift and walk, they'll stay green, and they won't be as disruptive. Now these little grills on the floor are like trampolines. You can jump up and down on them and actually use them to gain height. So letting them go all the way down then jumping up again will allow you to perhaps get to places that you hadn't previously been. You can see here there's actually a platform directly above this one that I'm able to jump to. I'll show you how I get to that now. So jump, let it go down, and then when you hit the top you've got like half a second to jump, a quarter of a second. You can then jump up to this platform up here. Now once you get a gun, what you can do with these is jump up and then pin them in place, and then jump again and pin them again. And jump again, there we go, and pin them even further down. It's okay if you run out of bricks, you really only need 2 to do this, because you can always pick up the ones that you've left behind. See, I ran out there without realising. But just pick up the ones that are floating in the air and continue to jump, and you can find passages that were perhaps underneath that you didn't know about. And don't forget to let them go afterwards. There may be stuff underneath them when they return up. There are also invisible walls. If you seem to be at a dead end, try walking through walls. You never know what you might find. They're sort of hidden all over the place. There aren't too many of them, but it's always worth having a look. Now, these eyes on the wall, if you look at them for long enough, they will start blinking. And they'll blink a couple of times and then close completely. You'll see here it's closing slowly. After it's closed completely, what will happen is it will disappear, and that will reveal a new path that you can go to. So they're always worth looking for. These funny little windows. Now if you walk up to them, generally from the opposite side, you'll see something on the other side which isn't visible from the room you're in. So what you need to do is close distance completely so that they completely obscure your view, and you'll get teleported to whatever they were looking at. You see, we've gone from there to over this side, simply by looking closely at that. Now once you get the blue gun, you will learn a very basic skill, which is pinning doors open, and obviously manipulating blocks. So you break this beam and pin this door open. Now never underestimate the importance of backtracking to pick up blocks. Obviously you need to use that one there to get past here, but a little further up here you'll gain access to a second block. So what you want to do is put it in there, and then grab that block and return here. So then take that one out, put that one back in there to open this door, and then pin this door open with the spare one you've got. Then you can grab this block here, head back here, pin this door open here, and grab your first block from the wall there that was blocking the laser beam, return through here, and you can now return here with 3 blocks. And this is useful in so many places. It's always worth backtracking to collect as many blocks as you can when you've got the blue gun. And in this way you'll find that you get to places that you didn't think were possible, and suddenly you'll find you have more than enough blocks when you arrive there. And so doors that seemed previously impassable are suddenly like, oh, okay, that's actually pretty easy. Now let's talk a little bit about these shimmering fields, the red ones. You can fire blocks into, but they'll detonate as soon as they hit them. And that's no good at all. Also, when you pass through them, whether they're yellow or red, you'll lose all the blocks you were carrying. The yellow ones, conversely, you can fire blocks into. Now that might not seem so useful at first, but later on when you get the yellow gun, that's going to be very useful indeed. So remember the difference between yellow and red blocks, fields. Also, if you need to build a block somewhere specific, but there isn't a connecting block nearby, you can build one on the floor and then just work your way up. And manage, even if you've only got 2 blocks, you can always get 1 block to exactly where you need it to be with enough perseverance. Once you get the green gun, there's a very useful skill you need to learn about building blocks. As soon as you build a square, it will automatically fill in all the gaps that were previously left. So as long as you have 8 blocks, you can make as many as you need. You can see here, I'm completing the square and then filling in the top line, and it's making more, and as you get more blocks you can make these squares bigger and bigger and bigger and get more blocks very quickly. So you see here I'm now building across the top, and now I'm getting 6 blocks for free. There we go, you can make it bigger. Be careful of taking the corner one. When you take a corner, it will always sort of destruct the shortest line. You'll see here I'll do it again here, and this time I'm going to pick the bottom right and it will destruct the bottom line because that was shorter. Now if you've got a cross or a T-shape and you take the middle one, it'll actually destroy all the lines like this. You'll see here I take the middle one and it destroys them all, and here I build a T-shape and take the junction and it destroys all 3 lines. Now this is generally something you want to avoid, but there are times when it's useful, so it's worth keeping that in mind too. Now, when you are heading through here, sometimes you can fire a block into a slightly cheeky place. It's probably not intended, but if you get the right angle, you can access blocks in otherwise hard to reach places. It can be a bit fiddly, but sometimes it can pay dividends. I'm not sure if it's considered a glitch, but it can certainly be useful if you're 1 block short at a particular challenge, and you don't want to backtrack 3 rooms just to pick up 1 block. So bear that in mind too. Now once you gain the yellow gun, you'll learn the very first challenge you pass is that you can pull blocks. And typically they'll regenerate if you destroy them, so by pulling them out of your path, what you can do is gain access to places that previously weren't accessible. And this is really straightforward. But what this means later on is that actually if you fall down somewhere, you can stand on top of a block and simply stand on it and point straight up, and it will work like your own portable lift. And that will actually lift you up. Now watch out for ceilings. If you hit the ceiling, it'll either fall off the block or just stop you dead and you'll be stuck. So definitely plan your route when you're lifting your way up, but it means that you don't have to be building really complicated stairs. Also, when you're dealing with challenges like this, where the blocks regrow, what you want to do is drag one to the side and then remove it and then move the others quickly, and that one will grow back now unattached. I'll do that again slowly. So you've got one covering the laser grid there. Remove, oh no, there we go, remove that one and then move the other ones, and the one that you removed will grow and now it will be unattached and you'll be free to move the others. You can also change the position that you're hooking on. So sometimes these are behind glass, but target on one part of the yellow blocks and then move your cursor before letting go, and you'll be able to move the point which is pulled. And this is super useful when stuff is behind glass and it's not necessarily obvious where it's going to go or how you're going to be able to move it. You can change your target and pull point. Later on, when you get the red gun, with just 2 blocks, you can build many. So here I've just got 2 blocks. Now I hold the buttons as instructed by the demonstration when you first get it, and then suck those up and build, and suck them up and build again, and just from 2 blocks very quickly you'll see I've got an exponential growth of blocks. And you can also change the target point that you build from. Sometimes it gets a little bit glitchy like here, but persevere and it'll work. Now I move my target up here and start building from here, and you see it builds slightly differently. But from just 2 blocks and only 3 or 4 shots, I've suddenly got an entire wall of blocks there. Now I've sped up this destruction of blocks a bit just because it took a little while to come up. Here we go, it'll speed up in a second. So, there we go. Now from there, you might want to build blocks at different angles to the wall, and the way to do this is to, depending on the face of the cube that you're pointing at, so from here underneath, if I target there, it'll build out perpendicular to the wall. If I come to the side here, it will now build out this way. So using these skills, you can build out walls in whichever direction you need very, very quickly and very easily. You can also make little stairs here, but there's not really much purpose to that. It's always much, much quicker just to target the ball and create a lift for yourself, like this, in a second. But those are some basic guides. I'll be doing an upload later of room-by-room guides, probably with an annotated map, much like my Assassin's Creed 3 underground maps, but I hope that was useful. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!